Hello everybody, I am Shrita and today we'll be doing an intro to variables and data types. Now what are variables? Variables are placeholders for data. Now let's say you wanted to get some data and print it on your output terminal screen using the print command. Well, variables are your answer. So let's get straight into a variable syntax. Now how do you declare a variable? Declare a variable means to make that variable exist. So let's call our first variable first, right? Then you want to put an equal sign and then you want to add an input. For example, if your input is a string, you're going to put these quotes that we put in a print statement, right? So let's say it was Python is good to learn. And yeah, that's basically a syntax. Now, how do you print it? You go print double quotes, sorry, brackets, but you don't put quotes. You just type the name first. Okay, and love this. Python is good to learn. The exact same input we've given here. Now let's say you wanted to type the number 1 or 1.5. Let's say 1.5. Now this should print 1.5. Now 5 the 0.5. Perfect. And then you can also say a string true or false, right? I'm gonna type true real quick. Okay, so now let's move on to input. Now the input built-in function is a way you can actually accept input from the user and store it in a variable. That sounded a bit complicated. Let me break it down. This input, which I've just written here, input parenthesis and quotes if you're writing a string in the middle, but if you aren't, you're just not writing anything, just keep it like that. So yeah, and after you run this, since it's empty, that's because I have to input something. 45. See, it prints first or 45 as my input has given. So now let's work out this syntax. Syntax is obviously simple. First you declare the variable with an equivalent symbol with a name. Then here you write input and then in the parent you put two brackets. One is left facing, one is right facing. Right. So now when we run this, it's not showing anything here. Like how do I know, yes, I have to input 6 here or something. That's where these parentheses or brackets come in. You can put quotes in the middle like you do for a print statement or a string or a sentence. Then write input name. Now as you can see, input name, and it's still asking us for some input. Let's say my name is Shrita. So yeah, that's how you use the input statement. Now let's say we wanted to input the name, and then after that we wanted to add a space and then they would input. That's where the space comes in. You basically just add a space after input name or whatever your statement is. That makes it a bit more clean. See? Now it looks better. Now we'll move on to the next topic. How do we add a string to a variable? But first we have to learn what are the different data types. Data types are not as complicated as they sound or seem. Data types are of 4 types. boolean, string, integer, and float. Now, what is a boolean? A boolean is basically true or false. Obviously, I'm just going to hashtag this line. True or false equals boolean. Boolean. Then we'll have strings, which is basically what you type with letters. So contains letters only. For example, string. And for example, input name. That's a string because we only used letters. Now we will move on to floats. Floats are actually pretty easy. They are actually, first let's learn integers because that's crucial to floats. So integers right here are numbers, basically only numbers equals to an integer. Finally, what have I forgotten? Yes, a float, which I just mentioned. It's basically an integer with a decimal number. Decimal point. So as you can see, these are the different data types. I'll give you just 1 or 2 seconds. You can quickly memorize. Yes, I hope you've memorized. So now let's get on to the difference between a normal print statement and a variable and string print statement. So in a normal print statement, all you have to do is basically write what you want in quotes. Now, how do you combine a string and an integer or a variable, more importantly, together, right? So first what you want to do, you want to make a fresh print statement, add some quotes, write a string, say hello. I'm going to add a space here. You'll see why soon. Then what you want to do, you want to add a comma. Don't leave any space because you've already left space here. Then you write the name of that thing, of the variable, which is first. And then if you run this, input name, let me just write my sister's name, probably my name, yeah, hello Shrita. Right, so yeah, let's type something else. Right, it's better to add a space after the comma because then it'll add only one space. Okay, so yeah, that's all I wanted to teach you today. Thank you for watching and I will see you next time.